brain. I need some prayer for real. You know, slick as I got though. Don't worry about the kicks, not slick, you ain't got those. I pray to keep some fire and some color. The capital of the city. I seen the capital, but I'm pulling one from the rioters. White people that was getting too crowded. Because that ain't you black, they gon' clap you and hug your mommy like, cool story, whole country, they cold blooded. Sammy Lawrence and Candace O'Neal, it's nothing. Patriotic energy. 2020 showed me my vision. I'm blurry, I'm tired. I'm fried. We all need a reset. I got it. Why not? I always been a teacher. I've always been a lot of things, but none of them move like. But everything I lied, I hope you sparkle when you sing it. Like, yeah, survive. Shit, I right on your side. All my niggas lying in the president be lying. I got something in the trunk when I'm blind. With the signs in the sky. Shit, I right on your side. All my niggas lying in the president be lying. I got something in the trunk when I'm blind. Welcome to we did change the name. I'm sorry. I want to say it the right way this time. Welcome to the DMV Vibes podcast. And you know, of course, that's me, Miss Pink, and Phyllis Swagger. So today we are going on a journey, basic understanding, and so we can have a different perspective. I do want to we have a special guest with us here in the studio today. How are you? Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel.
Thank you for joining us, Daniel. I really appreciate it. I know it's supposed to be a whole circle was supposed to be here, but thank you for joining us. I invited you on the show just because I've been in different circles that haven't experienced or don't have any friends in the LGBTQ community. And so I wanted to go on this journey to give everybody a better understanding. Because sometimes we want to look at everybody as people, but at the same time, we overlook how people want to be addressed, or some people don't even know how to start the conversation. And that's why I wanted to give y'all opportunity to discuss y'all journey, and so that everybody understands, like, really, our journeys are very similar.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, so you can start by saying, I don't know if you're single or dating right now.
Right now, I am currently single. I am open to dating right now, but I've been just so focused on building myself as a person and building my brand, and just really focused on money in the season. So I haven't really been too focused on trying to find somebody to date, but one day when somebody comes along, you know.
Oh, trust me, I understand. Look, we've been talking about dating. Yes, yes. And it's a little bit, I think, not just the quarantine, it's just at the time that we live in now. It is hard to really trust people. And then how we meet people now is very different than how we used to meet people. You know, you meet somebody when you go out to the bar or something, and now it's very much like it's social media. So I've been on a dating app and I do not participate in it anymore because people tell a lot of lies on the internet. A lot of lies on the internet. Have you ever been on the dating site?
Oh God. Yes, I have been on a dating app before, but the culture of that app is so hookup-ish. And right now, at this point in my life, I'm not looking for hookups anymore. Like I'm looking for something long term, something a little bit more serious. I'm always a big person of like you get out of an app whatever you put in. So like although an app might be for hookups, like you can still put out that energy to receive like friends and meet some genuine people. I just haven't had that luck of meeting anybody off of a dating app. So I no longer have any of them at all.
Yeah, I feel like it's not just that the dating apps are becoming more hookup, but I think we're in a time where culture has made it seem more hookupish. Like
I think people, and then from my experience, it's just like people don't know how to hold conversations.
Oh my
Yes,
God,
yes.
that's
So
a big deal.
Yeah, like your approach, like I was on Hinge for a very short to get a highly recommended. And it's just like y'all would match and then they would say like, oh, I want to eat you several ways.
yeah, like that threw
Good
me off.
afternoon. Hello.
I feel like on my profile or whatever, I would usually have like I'm interested in this. I like talking about these things. Like if you hit me up, don't hit me up with a one word message because I find one word messages extremely just like disrespectful or like a passing thing. Like you say, what's up? It's like, what's up? Like keep it moving. But like if I want to actually have a conversation, like let's talk. Like, hey, how are you? How is your day going? Oh, I see that you like these things on your profile. I like these things as well, but it's just like people don't look at that. They just see, oh, you look cute. Oh, you look nice. Oh, what's up? I want to get to know you. Let me
Right. It's like you want to jump straight to bed. Like, yeah.
They be really quick just to come over to the house, and it's just like you're not coming over to my place. Like my place is my place of peace. That's my sanctuary. Like you're not about to be in my place just all willy nilly, and I don't know you like that.
So speaking of that, I want to say that April is um, Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I don't like to say that I'm a victim. I like to say that I'm a survivor. But I do want to bring awareness to that because a lot of people who have been sexually assaulted is always by someone that they know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that was one of the biggest struggles. Like, how do you date over time after you suffer trauma like that? Because it's like you want to meet people, but then you're worried about your space and somebody violating that space again. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of people overlook when it comes to like meeting people on date nights. Because we've had a lot of hate crimes right here in Washington D.C. when it comes to, especially in the LGBTQ community. Um, I don't know how people like. For me personally, if I go out and meet somebody, one, I'm gonna have my location on.
Oh yes, I send locations to my friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my location on just because of where we are in the world now. You have to like have a double, just so people are aware of where you're at, who you're with, and it's not necessarily that you want everybody to be in your business. It's just a safety precaution.
Yeah, I think like with me as well, my two closest friends they have my location at all times, and that's just because I'm a single man up here by myself. The majority of my family all lives in North Carolina, so it's just like if anything, God forbid, but if anything were to happen to me, those would be the two that can get to me the fastest. So it was really just a thing of to me, like I date my friends, so it's just like I would do that with somebody I was dating. So I find myself just doing a lot of things that I would do with the person I would date with my friends instead.
Yeah, I understand. I think it's harder for the younger generation to understand why it's important, and it's like they just live so carefree. It's like we lived carefree when we were younger too, but we didn't have that many things to like really worry about back then. So
Yeah, we were a lot of us was latchkey kids. So like, we could go out or our parents could leave the house and be like, don't open the door for nobody, and we wouldn't. And then we didn't have like we had the internet, but we didn't have the internet the access like these kids now. Like there was no Wi-Fi, there was no smartphones or none of that. Like
AOL dial was slow as
I was
right.
saying, like all we had back in the day was just like little chat rooms, but it's like now because of the internet and social media, you can easily be trying to hook up or meet other people through Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. Like there's so many different outlets now for people to meet. Like it's making the network of what we, I guess, like what we grew up on, like a lot smaller.
Yeah. Um, so I did want to give you an opportunity to talk about your journey as far as I'm not sure when you came out, or I know I have watched a friend who did struggle with coming out to their family, and I think because of what they looked at on TV, they were scared of how their parents were going to react. And that's a big thing I know, especially in Black families, when someone comes out, it's like they get shunned or looked down on. So if you don't mind sharing that journey with us.
Sure. My journey is kind of all over the place, just to be honest. And that's because I was never being honest with myself as well through a lot of my journey. So that's why I just kind of like just scattered throughout. I am from North Carolina, so I grew up in the Bible Belt. If anybody knows what that means that it is heavy, heavy on religion.
Yeah.
And so it was you were told, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. It is very much so a culture of
That is the
pleasing.
Baptist.
And I grew up missionary
Yeah.
Baptist, and I grew up in the church. Like I grew up with very, I don't want to say strict guidelines because I'm grateful that my parents are not so religious, but I cannot deny that like I grew up in a very religious setting.
So my
So,
father was a minister.
oh, and see, my mom and dad, like they both deacons, and I have like a lot of ministers in my family, and so a long
We
time. I'm pretty sure we are
We're
like
pretty sure we're
for
related.
a long time, like I just never accepted my sexuality. Like it took a lot for me to even say the words. And this is all while I was like sleeping with other men at the same time. But it was still hard for me to be like, oh, I can't even say like I don't care about titles and all that other shit. But oh, can we cuss?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Because I know I'm about to cuss. But but it's just like I had a hard time saying like I like other men. Like those words coming out of my mouth took time. And to be honest, like I came out to my friends and I came out to other people who were close to me before I even said the words to my parents. And so like I never told them until I was let's see, 28 or so. Yeah, I was 28 or 29, and that took me a long time just because it was hard. Like I don't even know how to really mentally describe what I was going through, but it was just this thing of if I tell them, will they no longer love me? Will they no longer accept me? And I was so focused on how will other people feel about me now that I was a man who was interested in other men. How do I feel knowing that like my family that I love so much might not accept when I bring my husband around? How do I feel knowing that the dream and the life I saw with my family, not just like my close relatives, like my mother, father, brother, but like just family in general,
Mhm.
how do I feel knowing that because of me being a same gender loving man, that there's a possibility that they might not fuck with me anymore? Because when I get married, if they don't accept that, that's on them. I'm good. I
Yeah.
can walk away. And that's where I kind of left it. But it took a while for me. It took 29 years for me to get to that place, and I'm now 30. Well, no, 28 when I told them. So yeah, it took 28 years for me to tell them. Yeah.
I know that like we talked about the family dynamics before and how the way some parents have raised us, it kind of also hinders how we express ourselves because like I had a parent, my mom, she always talked to me about a lot of stuff, but when certain things happened to me, I felt like I couldn't talk to her
Mm-hmm.
because I was more so worried about one, is this she gonna look at it like I'm disappointed in her, or how is she gonna react? Period. Because I was a person who I always had a lot of male friends. I wasn't talking to them, but
Mm-hmm.
the perception that society has when they see a female hanging with a bunch of guys, so okay, well she probably messing with all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I went through that, but not with my parents, but like people in my family.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I hung around guys, I went through periods of time where it was accusations being made against me, and I knew it was a rumor. And it was by an aunt that I don't like, so I don't care if anybody sees this, but I don't like her. And she was the one who started the rumor, and it's just like the first of all, the rumor was dumb as hell, and it was while we was in high school, so it was extra fucking stupid. But it's just, but it's just like a lot of times I feel like even just society and even in black families, like when people say things like that's to me, that's their thought process.
Mhm.
Because you are a woman who would probably sleep with every man that you hang with or that you meet.
That's what I come to
And
find out.
and that's really why when people like in the Bible it says the way a man thinketh, so is he. So if you are a female who think that a woman and a man can't be friends without there having to be some type of sexual something going on, then that's further letting me know that's the type of woman that you are. You know what I'm saying? Or the type of person that you are, because you would be trying to hump all your friends.
Right.
Because a lot of times, like with the family dynamic, if you tell someone like I'm a same gender loving person, or I want to be identified as this way, or this is who I love, or whatever, the person ends up making it about them. And it's like this has nothing to do with you. Like you are not affected by this in any way, shape, or form. Like me telling you, I'm a same gender loving man. Your money didn't increase. Your money didn't decrease. You didn't get sick. You didn't. Ain't nothing bad happened to you. Like everything I'm telling you is just opening up
Right,
about
about
who
me.
I am. But what I see a lot of times, especially in Black families, is that when a kid comes out and says like, "This is what I love," they make it about them. Oh, well, how would that make the family feel?
Who
Fuck the
cares?
family. Like they're not living my life, and honestly, God, if half of them lived the life that they were supposed to, they'd be a lot happier.
Because a lot of them aren't living in their truth.
That
So
part.
that is the problem there, because you are living in your truth, but you have people, and we see this a lot of times in, especially in the Black families, that they're hiding behind who they truly are. And so because of that, is you do have somebody that comes out and say that, you know, they're gay or they identify as this, that, and it's like, oh my God. What are the people going to say?
Like, oh my God, that's a
They're gonna look
sin.
at the thing.
You're going
Yeah, the
to
first thing they want
hell.
to do is send y'all to hell.
That's,
Yeah.
that's not godly and blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, honest to God, that was my biggest struggle. It was me staying in a relationship with God throughout my entire journey. Because, and I always tell people this, I would say, like, I'm so glad that when I was younger, that when I gave my life, I gave it to God. I didn't give it to the church. I was never attached to the church. My love was always for God and God's omnipotent presence and God's power and God's energy and everything. Never was attached to the church. That's why I felt like I always was like in church and just like, how can you all claim you love God but treat people with so much hate? Like the God you're saying that you serve cannot be the God that I serve because like my God is so loving and forgiving. Like we're talking about two different people here. And so it's just like, so you mean to tell me because I'm the same gender loving man, that this omnipotent loving being who supposedly sent his son to die for us is now going to kill me and send me to hell? I'm not sure what kind of love that is. So it's just like I always struggled with me identifying as the way I identify and then my relationship with God. And I think when I kind of separated from the church and just came back to God, that's when I found the strength to be more so just like, this is who you are. It's okay. God loves you. Like there's nothing wrong with it. And finding my strength in that relationship with God, it became a lot easier to tell it to others because it's just like, I don't give a fuck what you got to say. Like, I have God on my side. Like, I don't care if you think one way or another about me because your thoughts and your opinions are your thoughts and opinions.
Exactly. So I think that because it's a generational thing, especially when your family has that close when they always go to church. And trust me, it's nothing wrong with going to church. I did that all my life. But I think generationally, they pass down a lot of things and try to make it seem like that's law. And it doesn't involve how the world is evolving. And like we talked about, there's some things that were completely wrong that our past generations did that we haven't incorporated, but older generations take it as disrespect. And it's like, you raised me to be a person who voices their opinions and stand on what I believe. And so when I have journeyed out and done my research and I'm trying to express to you, because honestly, we don't have to tell anybody anything. But when you have family and loved ones, you want to share your happiness and your journey. And so I don't think they realize that their reactions can hurt us while we're trying to express, where we are in life.
See, and that hurt can do a lot of things to somebody's mental. And like I just said, like I'm just so grateful, like I said, that the way I even came out was because of my strength, my relationship with God. Because the certain things that come out of people's mouth when you do tell them, you be like, damn. Like, how can you say you love me, but then say those words to me?
I just think a lot of times when we talk about the church and we talk about Christianity and things like that, it's always they try to make it seem like that is the greatest sin. But we all sin, we all fall short. So just because this person loves the same gender, but you out here in the Bible, we ain't supposed to be out here having sex before marriage, but we definitely doing it. So you can't sit up here and say, "Oh, you going to hell for that," and but you over here, humping everybody that's moving right now. You know what I'm saying? And I think we need to get away from that, because even when you go to church, and I do go to church, but I tell people all the time I'm more spiritual than I am religious, and I do believe everybody that has their own relationship with their God or whoever, like that's the relationship that y'all have. But we have to get out of making it seem like being a same gender loving person or being gay or lesbian is the only worst thing that you can do. I mean, being hate crimes is bad. Talking to people like any old kind of way, like it's other stuff that to me that goes beyond that. Love who you want to love. That ain't none of my business. That's between you and God. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But you still don't have to treat them like they're not a human being, because at the end of the day, you're a human being. And like you said, if God is supposed to be a God of love, and he loves everybody, how can you sit up here and treat somebody the way you treat them, but then you're saying that you're doing this in the name of God? Like,
A
no,
lot of
make
things
it make
too,
sense.
like to me, and it's not a bash, but it's just reality. Like I grew up in the church, so when I'm saying this is coming from my experience, the church now, the culture of it is so spoon fed. So a lot of people, they're not actually studying the Bible. They're not actually developing a true relationship with God. They're just taking whatever
Whatever
the
the
pastor
pastor
or bishop
says.
says, and then they run with it. But the thing is, true faith work is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing. It's not just a one-time thing. And so you can't say that you have a relationship with somebody, but you're just checking in with them one time a week. Let your spouse do that to you and see how you feel. Like that's why to me, like people can't really talk to me when it comes down to like, oh, you don't know God.
You can't tell me what my relationship is
You
with
can't tell
God.
me what, bro. We talk morning, noon, night, all the time. Like if I'm not talking to God, trust me, a lot of motherfuckers will get cussed out a lot more, honestly. But like
People
we're on the
have
same conversation all the time.
people have a concept of what they think religious people are supposed to look like,
Mhm.
and forgetting that everybody makes mistakes. Everybody sins. It's about how, if you ask for forgiveness, when you notice you're doing something wrong, like don't condemn me because I made a mistake or because
But that's what they do though, and you see it like to me, religion has played a major role as to why you see the things that you see against people in this community,
Mhm.
because that is the main thing that they keep hollering, and it's just like, but this God that you serve loves everybody. And so you want to send this person to hell, but what if you get to heaven? You was a whole heathen out here. All you did was shout the church house down on
That's
Sunday.
it.
But Monday through Saturday, you was out here wreaking havoc with everybody. So you can't sit up there and tell somebody they going to hell, because if you believe in the Bible, when you go up there and God says, I don't know you, so depart. Because you was out there shouting the church house down,
Okay.
but what was you doing to his people Monday through Saturday? Because after you was thank you Jesus and shouting the curtains off the altar
And falling on the floor.
falling on the floor, then what else were you doing after that?
Deep roots. Yes, like
Okay, a lot of, and then when we talk about religion, a lot of it is so all these rules and regulations that's made up. Like I got in trouble for not wearing stockings one day. I said, when I go to heaven, that's where I'm going. I said, when I go to heaven, God ain't gonna be like, you know what, you ain't wearing no stockings.
see, a lot of
on
it comes
that
down to
Sunday.
like it's just misinterpretation of God's word.
Mhm.
Because like I realized too, like nobody takes the time to actually break down the Bible. You can't just read the book of Matthews and call it at face value. You have to know who actually wrote the book of Matthews. What was the culture during that time? What was happening? Why did Matthew refer to? Why are there 4 books at the beginning of the New Testament that all talk about Jesus but in 4 different ways? Nobody's talking about that in church. You just want to read Matthews and Jesus, and just like read what bro is actually saying about this figure, this archetype of Jesus, and then you can go from there and really dissect what the word is talking about. But you don't go that deep into it because to you just want to read Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
The 23rd Psalm, John 3:16.
Like you don't know what the words you're actually saying. You just read the words and just like you need to get down to what he was saying. Like do people not realize that even Jesus didn't want to die on the cross? And nobody, I mean, they didn't want to like even get this far into spirituality, but this is who I am really on a deep level. But like he didn't want to do it, and he said, like God, if this is what I have to do, so you can get the glory, I will do it. That's what it came down to. Like that's sacrifice, and a lot of people are not trying to sacrifice shit in their life, and so that's why it's hard for them to look at somebody else who's living their life in freedom. Because guess what? I made a sacrifice to be free. I sacrificed my own ego. I said, you know what? I have to be free for myself. I have to be free because somebody else is going to look at me and say, man, how can I have that light? How can I be like this person? How can I have this kind of love? So when I came out, it wasn't necessarily for me. It was, I realized like, I'm not able to fully share who God is in my life unless I am authentic to myself. And that is the same loving man and watch God move in my life in ways that I've never seen before. Because my love for God is real. You can never deny that. You can take it away. Nobody can.
Exactly. Man, that's a whole testimony.
Hello, thank you. Living your truth.
Yeah. We're going to take a real quick break. I'm going to play this song, Whole Lot of Clap, is by Say Baby, and followed by Clap for 'Em, Young Man.
Maybe mistakes.
I'm still running out of connection.
But he kept calling. He called me like twice. I'm about to come back in and about where this is.
Hey, honey, baby.
What's the name of the song?
Hey, cousin. That was too far, yes, I'm dead.
Oh, it's going to take him a minute to get to that book.
Oh, if I do it live, is there a way I can say like going live or?
It's supposed to be. I don't know the before, but I know you.
Oh yeah, I can tag a business partner. She gotta ask
Girl, we doing full body now, so they say it's every day.
You said this is the guys, right?
Listen, I told Tim today, I can't do no more strippers. Can't do no more stripper parties. I ain't go for that. Beach body me, girl.
I think it's not me. I'm not even
You can do that.
So one more song we're gonna play after this, so I can go to I know you guys got me ready to go.
That's all I kept thinking about. Come here earlier, talking about
I had to look at it. Oh, thanks. I'm done with you, Anita. Like,
Hold on, you leave.
yeah.
How do you get out?
You gonna walk down the hall to the steps,
Okay.
go down the steps, go out for something like that, go out that door, and then Bank of America, and go out that door.
Okay, so this.
I need to go to the next Friday.
Okay, so we had to take a brief intermission. Again, the song that will play with a whole lot of Chopper's remix. I said the baby, platform, Young Manny. And one of my new favorite songs, Leave the Door Open with Bruno Mars.
Bruno.
I like Bruno.
Oh, I don't know that song.
I like Bruno. His last album was everything. Bruno, we need a new album because that came out in 2018.
Yeah, my mom was just talking about that yesterday. She's like, well, he just made all those songs back to back and then he just disappeared.
Yeah, we need a new Bruno album. Thanks.
So to jump back in, we were getting spiritual in here.
Praise the Lord.
But, so I did want to ask, I know there are a lot of people do assumptions or a lot of stereotypes towards the LGBT community, and like, what ones do you hear that just like trigger you to respond? Like some you can ignore, and then some you like, no, I'm gonna say something.
Ooh.
On the spot, on the spot.
It's given he don't really give a fuck for real. So
I mean, honestly, I think that's what it is. Like,
that's what it's
like-
giving me.
yeah, like there's not.
It
I don't
feels
have,
like you're
any
like
triggers
so far
or anything
over
like
it.
that.
Like, you know, you're so comfortable in yourself. Like it's
Yeah, like,
there's no triggers.
but I know like the stereotypes. I'm probably not helpful with this at all right now. Because it's just like, let's see.
I know one
Let's see.
stereotype
Yeah, let's do that.
that I have heard, and this is just from my friends, that when it comes to the gay men, that you have straight men that are like, it's the homophobia part. Like it's like they don't want to sleep with every man that they see, just like women don't want to sleep with every man that they see, and men don't want to sleep with every woman that they see. So it's like weird. But I see that it's not just even with the gay men, like it's with the gay women too. Like it's weird because
Yeah.
you're not attracted to every person that you see. So like I don't think my gay friends want to sleep with me. Like I don't, you know.
Yeah,
I don't have a
think
lot of
that's
gay
stereotype.
female friends, but like I don't think they would.
Yeah, that's one stereotype that like if a man comes out as being gay around you, like wants to sleep with you,
It's weird.
that's definitely false. We don't want you whatsoever. Stay to yourself, stay over there.
Stay over there.
Yeah, I'm honestly probably like the worst person to talk to about like stereotypes and things like that.
I know I have seen where like a lot of people when they see two guys or two girls together, they have this automatic response of, well, who's the guy and who's the girl? And I don't understand that. I'm like, look, they both guys. What you mean who's the guy? Who's the girl?
That's like the I forget the word. I think it's like the heteronormative. It's like when people who are straight try to make sense of a homosexual relationship. So to a heterosexual couple, there are
Gender roles.
Gender roles like I'm the man, you're the woman, clear, set, defined, boom, boom. And so when you see like two men or two women together, it's like, oh, well, which one of you is the man, which one of you is the woman? And it's just like we don't desire to have a heteronormative relationship. We're gay for a reason. It's not supposed to like you're not supposed to understand, and quite honestly, like you don't have to understand. Like you're not in the relationship. You're like you should be working on your relationship with your woman or with your husband, like whatever. You don't have to worry about how a gay relationship works. Like you don't have to worry about that shit. And I feel like I use
Pay
like
the business that minds you.
that's how I feel. Like pay the like I don't know. Like to me, a lot of it is just weird that people will put that much thought and effort into like.
But I think
So how does
that's
that work?
society too, because
They're
like
weird.
it's people like with the lesbians, it's like, okay, well, she dresses like a guy and you dress like a girl, and y'all like, and people are like, they don't understand the dynamic. That ain't none of my business. You know what? If that's what you want to do, and that's
Mhm.
what I mean. You like what you like, and that's just whatever, gay, straight, whatever. You like what you like. So, but I think because of the politically correct and because of how society has constructed things, that's why it's such a question of who's the man or woman in the relationship, and that's just because of society, because of the heterosexual relationship and how it's set up. So it's like, well, who plays what gender roles? Like, okay, who does the cooking? Who does the cleaning? Who takes out the trash? Like, it's
Yeah.
all of those type of things, and that's why people ask those questions when it comes to same sex relationships, because it's like we have been taught, like, okay, as female, I'm not supposed to take out the trash if a man lives with me. The man's supposed to do it. So then it's like, okay, well, it's two men. So which one of y'all do y'all flip a
Mhm.
coin? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
see, the thing
stuff
is,
like that.
even within heteronormative relationships and things like that, to me, a lot of it is just stupid. It's just like, why are there such clear roles? Like, oh, you're the man, so you're supposed to be doing this. You're the woman, you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
It's
because
just
I ain't gonna be
like,
in no damn kitchen all the time.
it's just like, what if the man cooks? What if the man is the chef? What if the man can outcook the wife? So does that make him less than a man because he's cooking?
No, because
You
you
know,
gonna
but
cook this kitchen and make me a plate.
I have my cousin is married, and she's the first one to say, like, "Look, I didn't know how to cook when I got married.
Mhm.
She's like, my husband has taught me over the years. And I'm telling you, Phil can cook. Like, shout out to Phil. Phil be making some bomb ass food, and like she's okay and comfortable with that. I prefer not to cook. I really don't even want to learn sometimes. I'm like, I get it. Like, it's because it's still one of those things that was passed down of gender roles.
Yeah, and I think that's just the generation, because you have to think about like our parents' generation, grandparents' generation, like that's what it was. Like a woman, this is what her role was. This was what a man's role was. And even when you did have people that who were gay, because it's not like it just came up. Like they, you know what I'm saying? It's been around clearly.
Not like,
But they still had but it was so secretive. So it's like you didn't know that this person was, they had a partner. They didn't have, the regular heterosexual norm. So
oh, that's his little friend. That's her little
yeah,
friend.
that's, we didn't, they didn't announce those things because it just was like,
Kept
back
under
then it
wraps.
was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I really like the show Pose, because I love Pose, but also just being able to learn about the underground and how things were back then.
Mhm.
And it was an eye opener to me because I didn't realize the amount of ignorance that there was within at the time it was just the gay community. I don't think it had all the letters that you have
Yeah.
now. But to learn, the ignorance, like watching that show, I was like, dang, really, people really look like that, or people really looked at. And I've actually had a conversation with my students, actually about HIV and AIDS and the ignorance, because we watched a documentary on Netflix about it, and the ignorance that we saw behind it. And I like how Pose actually like dives um into that.
Yeah.
That's a great insight. All right, so one quick question. So what things did you take from your parents' relationship that you adapted into your own, and what things did you decide to do differently for when you find your person? Like, how would you model that from your parents? Or
So I kind of have both of them in a way. For my dad, he is a provider. So he's very big on like taking care of the family and making sure that everybody's good, like financially and all that. So from that aspect, I do feel like when I'm in a relationship, I do take on this role of being a provider. And I put a pin in that too because there's also still like a lot of heteronormatives in the gay community, which is like, oh, because you are the top or because you're the bottom. Like if you're the top, you're supposed to be the man of the relationship versus if you're the bottom, then you are the woman of the relationship. And so a lot of times they get into this idea of, oh, well, since you're the provider, you're supposed to be taking care of me, and blah 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 blah. And to me, we're not a man and a woman. Like I want to be with my best friend. Like we move and operate and build together. Whole different topic. But from my mother, I would say I took the idea that she loves to spoil. She loves just like giving gifts and doing all of that. So like if I'm with you, oh, it is nothing for me to be like, oh, I saw this at the store and I think you might like it. Or I come home randomly with like flowers.
That's me. I love giving random.
You know, like I'm quick to be like, oh, let's go out of town. Let's do this. Like I would call you, be like, what you doing for lunch today? Oh, nothing. Okay, cool. I'm outside. Let's go. Like I'm gonna take you out to lunch. Like that's me. Like I love those. So those two things I kind of took from my parents. That's really about it because they're still a man and a woman. So a lot of what I want to build, I have to build from what I desire out of my relationship, not from what I saw from them.
We've actually had that conversation before about what we would take from our parents and things. And my parents have been together for going on 42 years. So the longevity is something that I hope to look forward to, but also they got married in their 20s and was looking married at 35, 40-ish for me. So, might not be that longevity, but there are things that, that I see in my parents that I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And then there are some things like, oh, okay, like I like the friendship aspect. Like my mom always be like, make sure you marry your best friend and somebody that you can joke with and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like that's the biggest part for me is when that time does come. I definitely do want my man to be my best friend.
You gotta be like mine.
Yeah, like we gotta be able to crack jokes all day
That's
because
what
I'm a
like.
part-time comedian.
That's
So.
exactly what, like how I feel like. I feel like essentially like everybody wants the same thing. Like they want to be with someone who's their best friend, who they know they can share, like be most vulnerable with, and their like share their love and their happiness. Like when something big happens, you want to be able to call you.
Yeah, like I want you to be the first person. I'm just like,
that's what
babe.
happened, But instead of thinking, like, I just want this amazing thing, and well, I mean, I guess I'll call one of my friends. Like I love my friends. Don't get me wrong, but like you look forward. I should say to me, like to me, I look forward to sharing those moments.
I'm 100% babe. Like that's me all day. Like I can't sleep to say, oh babe, this or my boo this. Like, yeah, I'm waiting for the days.
Like I'm ready to get some sporty type shit. Like,
okay.
Let me fly you out.
Let me just send you this. Let me send you this for your haircut today.
I just want to take a minute. We have another guest in the studio with us. You can introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Mr. Tardy for the party.
Definitely tardy. Well, thank you for joining us. Daniel was explaining his journey with us and how he came to a place where he just had a lot. He felt free. And we were talking about dating in the DMV because I think people have a lot of misconception that first of all we're all humans and we all have dating problems.
Don't date in the DMV.
Same problem.
Do not recommend.
So how has that been for you as far as dating and the way social media has changed over time? Everybody's on Black China back in the day.
Exactly.
But it's a lot different now with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all these different things. Yeah. And then Snapchat, I still don't like it because it's going to messages disappear. And I'm old and I drink.
That's where all the hoes are.
I be wanting a screenshot, but Snapchat be snitching.
Yeah, that's what I don't like.
Snitching in the street.
Snapchat would have you caught up.
Miss Pink screenshot. And as soon as you see that, just know it's going somewhere in the group chat. I feel like it's going somewhere in the group chat. But how has it changed with dating?
For me, it hasn't changed because I don't do it. I done did it a couple times. I was like, I'm over it. The dating life ain't for me. So I don't do it.
Well, I know I done been out with you, and you definitely party.
Oh yeah, I gotta go in.
Yeah, we went to Atlanta, And I didn't even know that you could party that long in Atlanta. These motherfuckers had me out until 7 a.m. in the
Oh,
morning.
that's early.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Early.
The last time we was
That's
in
what-
Atlanta, we was out like until 10 o'clock in the morning.
But
That's
remember,
why
I
Atlanta was
drove
looking
the
like
whole
COVID
way.
never existed. Okay.
It don't exist down there.
It don't. Down there, so first of all, I got straight off the road and we went straight to the club. That was
That
already
sounds
strike
alright.
one. That was strike one for me. I'm like, I need time to recoup. I drove the whole 10 hours here.
Oh,
Well, we got off the road. Oh, child.
I'm getting tired.
In the club, like, it was a great atmosphere. I didn't know there was gonna be that many people in the club, but I'm still thinking, hey, it's Corona. No.
Listen,
The
Atlanta,
whole city was out.
Corona, I mean, Atlanta had the vaccine before anybody else.
clearly COVID booked a left and did not go to
Okay.
Atlanta. Okay.
Don't exist down there.
And then, like, I think we went to like 3 different clubs that
Yeah.
first night. By the time we got to the third one, I was about to tell them, leave me in the car.
You gotta do sometimes, take a quick nap in the car.
That after hour spot should really be the after hour spot. Like,
Yeah, to the sun come up.
huge.
Good times.
I ain't never been to Atlanta, so.
Oh, you need to go.
You ain't missing nothing.
I mean,
Well, you never have gone here. If you've gone in there constantly, then
It's
you're not
fun.
missing nothing.
I ain't gonna lie, it was definitely fun, but that second day, I couldn't hang. I was ready. All right, y'all, I see y'all later. It's 12:30.
In the car, you was in the car.
I was tired. I'm not used to this. My body wasn't ready to drive 10 hours then party to 7 a.m. So I was not about that life. But we kept trying to wake me up the next morning. I was like, oh, it's like
8 hours in a kick.
Yeah, because I was the one like we would party like about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then they would sleep for about 2 hours, and I went back up at one time about
Shot o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
with some tequila.
it's definitely always trying to talk.
Okay.
What I will say is like, y'all are always the life of the party. No matter where we go, y'all are comfortable with any atmosphere. And like, I appreciate y'all for coming out for my birthday because I had Airbnb. The energy was a little bit off at first, but we still had a great time. And I'm saying his clapbacks is fucking disrespectful. Like the shade was so real in them clapbacks, but it was fucking hilarious. I did want to talk about how do you handle he already explained how he handles people who might not agree with your lifestyle or agree with your preference. Do you have any friends that are around you that might have disagreed or tried to talk you out of your life decision?
No, pretty much. Whoever knows, knows. Whoever don't know, knows. But no.
Okay. I did want to give Daniel a chance to play a snippet of his music.
Here.
You can tell us, how long you've been working on your music.
How long you been singing?
Yeah, so you had a show down in Atlanta, right? When you went down there?
No, when I was in Atlanta, I was handling some other business. But I'm fortunate, like I've been singing since I was little. That's always been my first love, my first interest. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to actually be in my career of choice and not having to do other things as well. So this song is really one that I've been working on now for like 10 years. And this song really does like represent my journey because it's just like breaking out of that shell and being more comfortable in who I am and just recognizing like I have the power to create my own life. Like I don't have to be my life is not dictated by what others think or how others feel about me. Because a lot of times in life we end up living it for other people.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, am I gonna make them happy? Are they gonna say they're proud of me? Like I don't care to be proud of me. Like I'm proud of my damn self at this point. Like I did the thing. So like that's how I've been moving and operating in life right now. So the song is called Destiny and it is coming out on June 10th.
Oh, we don't countdown. June
Yes,
10th.
so June 10th is when it's coming out. I'm not sure if everybody's gonna be able to hear it on my phone.
All platforms, all platforms.
Of course. I'm not gonna do anything less.
Thank you.
See there. So that's a little clip.
Okay.
Just a little clip, just something inspirational, just to keep people happy. What happened was like it was my motivation, like what I would say to myself every morning when I wake up. So it's just saying like I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, I can do anything. And those are words I say to myself every day. Like I'm a fighter, I'm a winner, I can do anything, nobody can stop me, nothing can stop me. Like it's you against you in this game. So as long as I know I got me, then I'm good. Like I depend on myself and I depend on God. That's the only two people who I can count on in this world. So
I can definitely hear in your voice that you definitely ready to go Baptist.
No, you gotta hear that opera voice. There's a whole other voice.
Really?
yes, I do sing. I was trained classically to sing opera. I'm actually getting ready for a show at the end of May. I have the contract. So yes, I'm getting ready for a show now with the Kennedy Center at the end of May, a children's opera. I love singing opera, but at the end of the day, I'm just like a singer. So as long as it's music, then I'm going to sing. And I'm also in a competition at the end of May as well, the George Shirley competition. So that'll be going like May 24th, 25th, and 26th. So those are like the big two things I'm in right now. Well, three things: the competition, Kennedy Center, and then my single release in June. So those are like the big three.
Well, I definitely wish you well with that. And you know, when you sing with driver, can I play the beat?
Of course.
But anything that you have that the audience or anyone that you would like to come and support you, if you send me the information, I'll definitely make sure that I plug it. And so that you can have as much support as possible.
Yes.
I do want to ask y'all, so if you could talk to your younger self, what advice would you give your younger self about not just friendships and dating, but just about life period and your journey? Like what kind of information could you give your younger self?
Fuck them, do you. Honestly, fuck them, do you, because the older you get, you realize other people are doing something that's not even themselves. They do it because somebody else told them to. Why did you go to college? Oh, my mom and dad wanted me to go. Did you want to go? No, not necessarily. Why are you majoring in that? Oh, because my mom and dad wanted me to have a good job. What was your dream job? You're not following what you wanted to do. You're following what somebody else wanted you to do. So at the end of the day, fuck them. Do you. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, turn up.
I would say, I don't know, don't hold back. Stop holding back on whatever you want to do. And I don't know, I can't really go into detail right now, but just don't hold back. Because I know I held back on a lot of stuff that I probably should have been done, did. Probably like music producing, just everything. Just don't hold back.
That's good advice. I feel like people we talked about it before on the previous episode that people have a notion in their mind of something that they want to achieve something by a certain age, but don't that shouldn't limit how you think or how you move. You have a goal, keep trying to reach the goal, no matter what how old you are.
Never too late.
It's never.
The only time it's too late is when you're 6 feet
Yeah.
under. What is the deal breaker? This will be my last question to y'all. Well, I don't know because he's not dating what he does. I feel like it's my dad at the end all over again. My dad definitely said in the studio the same seat and said, "Well, I'm not dating." And I'm just like, "Sir, yes, you
I got time for time.
are." You just like entertainment. that's the
Yeah, pretty much.
that's the where you at right now. Like
I
I
act
just want,
right. That's why I had to marry myself for real.
Oh, that's the South America for me.
Period.
for you, what is a big deal breaker?
I have two deal breakers. One is if you don't have some kind of spiritual groundedness. I don't care what you believe in, but you have to believe in something.
Absolutely.
And then my second one is if you're not a go-getter, like I love hustlers. Like I realize that about me now. Like I love someone who has a goal and someone who wants to like, yes. Okay, yeah, like honestly, it's something so attractive about a man who's like going after their
Yes,
dreams.
a
Like, to me,
go-getter.
you like, yeah, have this meeting, I'm about to do this. I'm like, well, what do you want for me to have ready for you when you get home, baby? Like, I'm about to treat you like.
I think that's the biggest thing. You want somebody who's gonna match your hustle,
Match my
your
energy.
everything. We don't do everything the same way, but I need you to have some ambition
Yeah.
behind it. I do want to thank y'all for coming. Definitely appreciate y'all joining us today.
Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at DM_. Life is a song.
Life is a song. Definitely gonna look forward to the single drop-in. Wish you were at the competition and we can come out. We will be there.
It's going to be
Open to the
virtual,
public,
so
virtual.
I will let people know how it works. Honestly, I don't know how this virtual stuff is working right now, but I will find out and have more details and be posting that on my page. And then our number rehearsal start at the end of this month for the Kennedy Center. So I'm excited about that as well.
It really
That
is.
is
They
really
have like a lot of auditoriums.
Yes.
Thank you. You know what I was about to call you. I don't think
Oh,
you call you.
look.
Not on the air.
Nah,
Mr. Turn Up.
Yeah, that means something else, but it means something else.
Because it means something.
In real life.
Well, thank you for coming out. Do you have any like daily affirmations or things that you say to yourself to keep yourself level-headed?
A lot of them. I don't know. I try to pray every day. I don't get around to it, but I do try to pray every day.
No, I don't get around to it.
Look, I might be too busy. Nah, not really, but and I don't know, just be thankful for everything. I'm definitely thankful. I don't know. I try to push. I don't know, no matter what. I just try to push. Like I haven't worked in a whole year in the head.
You are definitely a hustler. I do.
Yeah, I think that's.
You are definitely. I don't know nobody who works hard as you. Honestly.
I be trying.
And I do understand why you be late. Just tell me, you know.
Look, I did. I said I'm gonna try to do a drive-by. Look, I said I'm gonna do a drive-by, and then
Yeah,
back
but
to the.
I definitely want to have another episode so we can finish the conversation. We were short on time today. Because I still want y'all to educate other people. Like we had started a conversation before air, and we were talking about how sometimes we don't know how to address certain people who want to, because we don't know everybody's stance in the LGBTQ community. Some people are non-binary. I don't even know if I say that right. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Then I also saw it was like gender expansive, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot of
It's a
terms.
It's a lot, but I feel like at the end of the day, it's like don't use those labels as like adjectives. It's like it's a person's being. So if I'm opening up to you about I'm gay, it's not used as a that's like so when you all saying earlier, that's my gay best friend. Things like that don't bother me. Kind of thing, but I know like people use it. It's just like they use it in the term of an adjective, just like what does my sexuality have to do with showing up to this space? And so a lot of times people take the sexuality term and say, oh, this is my lesbian best friend, this is my gay best friend, this is my trans best friend. It's just like I'm a human. I'm just Daniel. Like you don't have to put it you don't have to put gay on top of it. Like
Maybe they're trying to see how that friend react to it.
But I mean the thing is like why does that even matter? Like how you show up to the space should I don't give a fuck about anybody and how you show up. Like just be you. Like I don't think about this is my atheist best friend.
Oh.
Okay. You having a fun time? Do you want some Henny? Like, I don't care about like, oh, you're an atheist. Oh, this is my Buddhist best friend. You don't say that. But people like take the term and they make it out be attitude. It's like, no, it's a theme. Like, this is who I am. That'd be like that's really the big thing. People get past that, like, just listen to what they're saying. They're just really sharing their experience. And not saying like you have to go around and say, oh, this is my trans best friend. Like, no, this is my trans experience. This is my gay experience. Like, that's how it is. That'd be the only thing, really. So,
Yeah, like I did have a situation where one, honestly, it was a pure mistake because I didn't know, so I just asked the question, like, if you've ever dated or slept with someone of the opposite sex, and now that you are gay and you're fully gay, you're not thinking about the opposite sex, does that make you bisexual, or that was just an experience? I got
sexuality is
real
fluid.
when I said this shit.
Yeah, like sexuality is fluid. Like I've slept with women, but and then me personally, I don't put even a title on it. Like I'm more so attracted to your energy, like if you're flowing in the same space at that time. So it's just like you can sleep with a woman right now and then still consider yourself gay because this is your experience. That's why I say like when people start putting like the labels on it, like, oh, this is my gay friend, but he sleeps with women sometimes, or he does this, like I'm just out here living my best life. Like I don't have to necessarily add all these titles onto it. Like,
And I understand that, but placing titles can complicate things and makes people overthink. And just because I didn't know, I'm like, I was asking the question, but they got very offended and they're still mad about this conversation for 3 goddamn weeks.
I just feel like me personally, and I'm not gonna speak for the community. I speak for me personally. I'm always in a position of you have to realize that people are coming to you and no disrespect out of place of ignorance. So they're asking you, they really just don't know. So you can't be offended if somebody actually is taking the time to ask questions versus them assuming. And so me being who I am, I'm vulnerable, I'm open, like just talk to me, ask your questions. So then that way I can say, oh no, that's probably not the best way to say to somebody else, but try it like this, or no, this is my experience. Like, yes, I slept with women, yes, I slept with men, I sleep with both, I don't care. You know, I like
And I feel like I worded it, I felt like I worded it the right way. I said, I thought.
Mhm.
So I asked the question, it wasn't necessarily pertaining. The way it was presented is she felt very offended. And I was like, I'm sorry. I did not want to offend you. I thought I was asking the question. If your answer was no, the answer is no. But I feel like I should have asked that shit out the show. Now I fucked up the friendship over asking the question. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it will definitely be okay. I do want to run through a couple of upcoming events before we do our wrap up and weekly message. April the 17th, that's Saturday, from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the pop-up shop, hosted by Sister. It will be at 4802 Stand Road in Temple Hills. On the 18th, next Sunday, we will go back to building a sisterhood. We will have Pretty Pampered Queens Auto Club in the building. We're gonna have several members. Definitely excited about that because as you heard me and Phyllis Swagger last week talking about our sisterhood experiences.
Oh, yes.
And so we're gonna dig deep into having a conversation with the Auto Club on the 25th. We're gonna try to get Mr. Perspective back so we can talk about friendships and platonic friendships. And so we already know he's definitely a requested guest to return. But y'all pray for us in the studio because this man's facial expressions was killing us. And then you have a chance to meet him outside.
And he already got on my nerves.
So you know the show's gonna be off. It's like I'll be wanting to call him Mr. Debatable because he was debating anything. But he's still a great energy to have around.
I'm a female with what do you call me? A man with ovaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave you all kinds of nicknames.
Are you aggressive?
No. He just says,
I don't know, but
I will talk about that.
his favorite one was fertile
Fertile
He was having us down before we came. May the 2nd, we're going to talk about healthy friendships and brotherhood and sisterhood circles. And I'm going to have a guest, Sonny M. Hoffa, who's also like my cousin. You can catch him every Saturday at the Southside Market. Has a business that spirits and tells some of the best drinks I've ever had in my life.
You bring a drink?
Is that what you got right there?
No, see, this is me. So this is healthy. This is sea moss drink.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't drink no liquor today.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't drink no liquor today, but I'm definitely over here hot like I drink goddamn tequila for the
It's
last
a little
4 hours.
warm in the studio.
Yeah.
Still warm in here.
But I definitely want to also one of my friends' businesses before they cuss me out. The So Famous collection can be bought online now. You can contact him on Instagram, So Famous Collection. The owner is, maybe I should just say Shay instead of your real name. But please hit him up. He is a new business owner and he has sweatsuits, tracksuits, male, females, kids, socks, all kinds of shit on his website. It's definitely different for, I know it's like 8 million different people who sell clothes now. But you can definitely check out his website, sofamouscollection.com. I'm going to let Phyllis Swagger give her affirmation or word of the week.
Okay, y'all. Springtime. Y'all know it's getting warm outside. But definitely, I think that as we go into the new season, reflection. That's gonna be my word for this week. Definitely take time to reflect on the past week. I do that once a week. I always take time to reflect and sit with God and talk to him about the week and the week past and what I'm looking forward to throughout the rest of the week. So definitely take time to reflect what you could have done differently and what you can do throughout the week. You know, set many goals, accomplish many goals, because many goals turn into big goals. So, but definitely reflect on how to achieve those small goals. So definitely take time to reflect. You know what I'm saying? And then also rest in peace to the greatest DMX. I didn't realize how many DMX songs I knew until yesterday. I was like, oh, dang, I already know all the words. So,
Met him one time, so yeah, I feel a certain type of way.
Yeah, I mean, all of us in this room, I'm pretty sure grew up listening to DMX. Yeah. So it definitely hit different. Getting that to know that he struggled with addiction, basically his whole life. If you haven't watched the documentary, go watch the documentary. And I watched the clip that Swiss Beats did with Charlemagne. And Charlemagne says DMX was an anointed person. If you've never listened to the prayers, if you've never listened to the praise on his albums or seen him pray on any, I want to say it was a late night show or something. He was on and he prayed, and you can tell that he was anointed. He's definitely gonna be missed, and our condolences and praise to his family.
yeah, always put God first, no matter what. No matter what. That's one thing that I definitely appreciate about DMX. Like, he knew who the center of his life was.
Yeah.
No matter what, even in the midst of battling them demons. And those be the ones that had the best relationships with God.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things that people who have addictions, sometimes a lot of us kind of shun them when they have certain addictions, but it's an internal battle. And it was hard to watch that battle because DMX, it was like 1 minute he was in shape and 1 minute he gained a lot of weight. And so it was hard
I've
to
seen
watch.
family members go through that. So it's rough to watch people go through that.
I didn't know that he had 15 kids.
17.
17.
That's what the bitches wanted from the nigga.
Hey. Okay. That part.
And since we're talking about DMX and Rough Riders, if y'all didn't see the video I posted on this week, as we approach warm weather, please watch out for my bike life friends. And I have a lot of people that have motorcycles, four-wheelers, and we are approaching that season. Please be careful. That goes for not just new drivers, because I put tags out there now.
Everybody.
Hello,
Please
Texas,
stop
stimmy
cutting people
season.
off. Please stop cutting people off.
Versus me. Man, use y'all blinkers, and
Please.
I even want bike life friends to be more casual.
I'm still waiting on my.
What happened to the hand signals that they used to give out? And they supposed to give out that they told in driving school. I'm just saying. But no,
I've seen too many
I like to see the
accidents.
trick stuff.
Yeah, I've seen too many accidents for bike life. One of my cousins died in a motorcycle accident in New York. So please be careful. We are in this season. Thank y'all for joining us and tuning in this week. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, everybody.
Thanks for watching.
Again, that's Chocolate Thunder.
Okay.
Thunderclapper.
Yeah, I'm at DMX. We came to my ghetto ass McDonald's, the one over.